pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have several things I'd like to do to start the meeting. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody involved in the Midwest Music Fest, which was held over the past weekend. It's really an amazing event, 80 bands all over the downtown area, lots and lots of people. It was very well coordinated and received a lot of publicity for the city, and I just want to thank everybody for a great job there. Also want to read a proclamation. Started out, whereas the bicycle is an economical, healthy, convenient, and environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent tool for recreation and enjoyment of Winona's scenic beauty. And whereas throughout the month of May, the residents of Winona and its visitors will experience the joys of bicycling through educational programs, races, community events, charity events, or by simply getting out and going for a ride. And whereas Winona's road and trail system attracts bicyclists each year, providing economic health, transportation, tourism, and scenic benefits, and whereas creating a bicycle-friendly community has been shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and quality of life, growing the economy of Winona, attracting tourism dollars, improving traffic safety, supporting student learning outcomes, and reducing pollution, congestion, and wear and tear on our streets and roads. And whereas Winona area road cyclists, Winona area mountain bicyclists, Live Well Winona, Winona area public schools, Winona County, City of Goodview, Winona State University, St. Mary's University, Winona Police Department, Winona Health, the League of American Bicyclists, Adventure Cycle and Ski, Coulter's Bicycles, companies, and civic groups will be promoting bicycling during the month of May 2017. And whereas these groups are also promoting bicycle tourism year-round to attract more visitors to enjoy our local restaurants, hotels, retail establishments, and cultural and scenic attractions. And whereas these groups are also promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation and safety education in an effort to reduce collisions, injuries, and fatalities, and improve health and safety for everyone on the road. And now therefore I, Mayor Mark Peterson of the City of Winona, do hereby proclaim May 2017 as Bike Month in Winona. And I urge all residents to join me in the special observance. Which leads me to the next thing. I want to mention that tomorrow there will be a mayoral bike ride leaving from the front of City Hall at 5 o'clock. And I want to invite everybody, young and old, to join me for a leisurely about 3-mile bicycle ride around Winona. We'll be going from Winona City Hall to...
Is it tomorrow? Wednesday.
I'm sorry, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Wednesday at 5 o'clock,
Is it
May
5
3rd.
in the morning or the evening?
5 p.m. 5 p.m. That should go without saying, but 5 p.m. and on Wednesday, May 3rd, leaving from the front of City Hall, and we'll be going up to Lake Park Lodge and then following the bike trail over to Dakota Street and winding our way back downtown. So I hope lots of people will join me, and the weather's supposed to be nice too. We also have an active transportation steering committee. Lots of people have volunteered, stepped forward, and I'd like to appoint these people. Lou Overhog, Scott Sherman, Leslie Foote, Amy Drazkowski, Tom Hoffman, James Grant, Eric Paulson, Jonathan Mauser, Pete Brugan, Paul Brown, Matt Wagner, Kate Nowelke, Bob Heath, Carla Krause, Michael Bowler, Thomas Yashewski, Mary Farrell, Kaylin Larson, Mike Chickanowski, and Julie Fassbender. And Councilwoman Pamela Iden will be representing that committee as well, with one other person joining from the Planning Commission. And let's see here. There's a groundbreaking tomorrow at 1:30 for the Levy Park Gateway project. I know it started today, but the weather will be better tomorrow at 1:30, I'm sure, than today. So with that, I would also like to invite up representatives from the Masato group that went to Masato, Japan to tell us a little bit about their experience, and start with Joe Lepley, I think.
I'd just like to say, because you've heard me speak about Masato several times in the past, is that we have a really healthy sister city relationship. I know that the group that went in December did a lot of very, very positive things to improve our relationship and sort of lay the groundwork for a wonderful welcome for the 35 ambassadors from Winona that went on April 10th and returned on April 18th. And I'll let them tell their story in short form.
Hi, I am Viva Graff, and I was one of the students who had the great privilege of traveling to Masato, Japan. Speaking on behalf of the students and chaperones on the trip, we were all exposed to completely new and different experiences that forced us to step out of our comfort zone. Trying the new and unfamiliar foods forced us to test our self-control and courage. Being a part of the Japanese customs and traditions helped us to open our mind to the culture and traditions of Masato and Japan. Seeing the beautiful countryside gave us a new appreciation for nature, and hearing their history left us in awe of how modern Japanese is without losing their roots. We visited many temples, saw our friends from October, met new friends, and immersed ourselves in the Japanese way of life. Everywhere we went, we were met with open arms and a warm welcome from everyone. From the flight attendants to our homestay family, everyone did whatever they could to make us feel at home and comfortable. We feel so grateful that we were able to have this amazing opportunity. We would like to thank you, the City of Winona, for making this possible and supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lauren Layton. I got involved with the exchange program back in 2010 when my youngest daughter went to Masato, and we hosted an adult chaperone. And in those past 7 years, we've hosted adult chaperones 4 times. This trip allowed me to see everyone who's ever stayed in my home, and for me to see their home city, Masato, which meant a lot to me. And the welcome was very sincere and gracious, and they're very serious about their sister-city relationship. Thank you.
I think Viva hit everything pretty much on the head. I went as a chaperone, Will Miller. Great experience. Like I said, I think everything that Viva said was right on the money.
Yeah, Will was right. Viva really hit it. And I will just say they made us feel truly important and special as we walked into their city hall. All the dignitaries were there, and the neatest thing was the little kids that they had in these color-coordinated caps that were there, and just giving them high fives. It was like heart-touching. I got done, and I just felt like kind of somewhat choked up. And how they just treated us was so much warmth, was just fantastic. Our homestay ended up taking us to where the earthquake and the tsunami had gone through the school, and the man that gave us a tour had lost his wife, his mother, and his third-grade daughter there. We just could see the destruction of that community and how they're just rebuilding and continuing to grow from there. There's a lot of similarities between Winona and the region, and as you're driving around, it was just, it just resembled a lot of the same sort of areas. It was just fascinating seeing how the people were similar sort of family structures as we have as well. So just nothing but purely just an enjoyable experience, and thank you very much for continuing this relationship.
Hi, I'm Isha Lally. I I just want to say I was honored to represent Winona as our sister city with Masato. I thought it was amazing the culture difference and meeting all these new people and trying new experiences. And I just thought this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and thank you for making that happen.
Hi, I'm Jacob Miller, and I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that helped with the trip, and it was super fun. I really liked how I could see everybody that came when they came here, and I got to go see them, and I really missed them, so it was fun to see them. Thank you.
Yeah. And we have some official gifts from the city of Masato to the city of Winona. One of them was made by one of their city councilmen's mother.
Oh.
Keep that simple. Keep Maynard busy for a couple days.
Cool.
This one was the one that was made by the councilman's mother?
Yes.
You're a lot faster than I am.
I had help.
No.
My grandma was trying to save her breath.
Nice box.
Oh.
Very nice.
Another samurai.
Our Masato room is starting to get a little full, much like their Winona room is
Yes.
over there. But very nice. I'll pass this around. Well, at least the majority of the council can certainly relate to what you're saying about your experience there. Some of them, council members have been there multiple times, and I had the experience last December to go, and it really, it's everything you said it was. So it's great. And thank you for representing Winona and bringing back the gifts, and thank you for coming here tonight and sharing your stories. Thank you.
Very much.
All right, that's all I have. City manager?
Well, with some risk and trepidation, I'll announce that the dog park should be open by the end of the month.
Are you saying that in trepidation because it might not be done?
I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
Another round of applause.
Thank Maynard. Thank Maynard.
Thank you, Maynard.
That's
That's
all I
it?
have.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Peterson.
Here?
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Iden. Here. Borzakowski.
Here.
Schulmeyer.
Here.
Under the petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1 is an update on the Bud King Ice Arena.
Chad?
Mayor and Council, I want to just do a quick walkthrough of Bud King Ice Arena project, have some before and after pictures really to kind of demonstrate what was done at the facility, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Slaggy from the Hockey Association to give us an update from the association's perspective, and then I'll have some quick closing remarks. Again, as a simple reminder, this certainly was a public-private partnership, and we don't want to lose sight of that. Between obviously the City of Winona and the Park Rec Department, the Winona Area Youth Hockey Association, and then of course I put certainly on the bottom, not to forget that the state of Minnesota participated as well. So the city contributed $1.2 million to the project, Hockey Association $1.8 million, and then the state of Minnesota did offer us the Mighty Ducks grant for the $150,000. We do mention the partnership quite a bit. I know that Mr. Sloggy is going to refer to this as well, but because of the issues that we had, obviously, at Lake Lodge this year, we were, I guess, lucky, thankful that this partnership took place. We had an outside facility that was available. We did offer free skating and skate rentals over Christmas and spring break for the community, and had roughly about 39 weekly hours of scheduled public skate, which is significant compared to the time that we had with just the one sheet of ice at Bud King previously. Just a reminder of kind of the scope of the project. This picture on the left-hand side is Bud King prior to the construction taking place. Remember, it was a sand-based rink floor. We converted that to a concrete floor. The concrete isn't in yet, but all the piping, obviously, for the refrigeration system is in. The floor at this picture, put in new dasherboard system as well on the indoor sheet. And in the end, this is what you have. You have a new concrete floor, new dasherboard system. Kind of important to mention that we have seamless glass, so we have better sight lines now with Bud King as well. So this is just obviously an after shot. The project was done in the inside rink. The picture in the upper left-hand side was the old Zamboni, a resurfacer room. It was basically a single stall garage where we had the Zamboni parked and a little bit of space to do some maintenance on Zamboni and certainly maintenance in the facility. And today we have the bottom right-hand corner roughly 3 to 4 times the size of the space, mainly because we go out to the outdoor rink using this overhead door to resurface the outdoor rink, and then right behind us is the indoor rink overhead door. We have 2 snow melt pits here that were added. We do some waste heat recovery there through the Bud King Ice Arena system as well through those snow melt pits. So a significant upgrade with the resurfacer room. Isn't the greatest picture in the world, because it's kind of hard to find the old resurfacing room or the refrigeration room at Bud King, but it was a very small space. Again, a refrigeration system that had the capacity to do the single sheet of ice on the indoor. In the lower right-hand corner here is the new system. Again, 3-4 times the size of the existing room, if not more. We have a new refrigeration system that is an assist system, which means it's primarily functioning the indoor sheet with an assist to the outdoor sheet of ice. So it means we need Mother Nature still to cooperate with us in order to have that outdoor rink. But the indoor rink, in a sense, feeds the outdoor rink, and the outdoor rink helps feed the indoor rink. And so it's an assist system. Everything is fully automated. I put this screenshot in here of the control system at Bud King. We can do some controls and operation of the facility from at home on a computer or on a phone. But primarily what we use it for as well is when we have issues or we're not quite sure what's happening with the system, we can have our vendors log into that system with us. They can see trending issues of the ice system all the way from outdoor temp to waste heat recovery temperatures, things like that, all online. So a big, significant improvement for us. The outdoor area of Bud King, if you remember, again, not the greatest photos in the world. This was a old plywood board system with some chain link fence, grass system, dirt area. We had a outdoor restroom facility that was heavily vandalized constantly that we ended up blocking up and closing. So this was just to the north of Bud King. So some before images. Again, the project also put in a concrete floor. This is again with the piping being laid before the concrete. And in the end, you get a facility that looks like this. This is an early morning shot of Bud King before one of our outdoor games. So again, seamless glass, new dasherboard system, concrete floor, and lights for the outside. So obviously a significant upgrade to the facility. Today was at the facility. They are about 90% done with a fence line that's going to come basically around the side of the building to protect this investment. And so that is almost done. We have a few punch list items that are going to happen this Thursday, and then, of course, we'll bring the project closeout back to council. I do want to mention that we certainly see Bud King as not only a hockey or figure skating facility, we certainly look at it as a community venue space. Not something that we want to do year one. I think I've mentioned that several times, but we do see it as the potential for other community events to happen in this space, for roller hockey maybe to potentially happen outdoor or inside, and certainly the inside facility could be used for multiple venues. Well, again, we want to go through kind of a one-year cycle, see how the floor holds up, and go through our warranty periods for its primary use, and then certainly we will look at adding other programs in the future. Just an outside shot of the first game that was played on the outside rink with the high school team playing Mankato West. So just another image of how the outdoor sheet is being used. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Sloggy from the Hockey Association. He's done. I'll have a few closing remarks.
Thank you, Chad. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Mike.
Yeah, as he said, my name is Mike Sloggy. I'm the president of the Hockey Association. Myself and 11 other individuals make up the Hockey Association board. As a bit of a, I'll try and not cover ground Chad already covered, but as a bit of a history lesson, the Hockey Association had run the Bud King Arena for a number of years as the Bud King's a city facility. When the refrigeration system was determined to need replacement, we approached the city and offered to assist with some help with the improvements, as well as to look at the outdoor sheet of ice and that sort of thing. So it was, I think, 2 years ago we started that. It ended up being a $1.8 million contribution from the Hockey Association to the city in exchange for the city revisiting our management agreement that we had. So a little bit about just the Hockey Association this season in terms of participation. Our numbers, we had 3 separate teams, what we call under 8, which could be kids as young as 4. Various learn to skate type programs. We had over 100 kids signed up for that. We continue to offer first year to any family at no charge. We offer equipment, provide equipment at no charge to anyone that needs it. We're working on making the sport as accessible as we can to as many people. So in terms of the traveling teams, which would be kids ages 9 to 14, this year we had 6 separate traveling teams, nearly 100 kids spread out among those. The highlight was that we were able to offer a traveling girls hockey team for the first time in, I'm not sure how many, but it's definitely been years. So we're extremely proud of how the girls hockey is growing in popularity down there. And we look for that to continue. In terms of other local use, the arena hosts several local groups when they need ice time. Our notable partners are the Winona Figure Skating Club and the Winona Senior High School Boys and Girls Varsity and Junior Varsity teams. Looking ahead a bit to next season, kind of one of those if everybody comes back sort of things and doesn't take into account if we pick up anyone. But we'll once again have the 3 under 8 teams. Our traveling teams, actually, we're looking at seeing that grow from 6 to 8. And again, notably in that, we'll be moving from 1 to 2 girls teams, one at the 10-year-old level, one at the 12-year-old level. So very positive about how the numbers are looking. In terms of any usage of the arena during the year, other than just the practices and games, we did host 4 tournaments. Each one of those brought over 150 families to Winona. 3 of the 4 were weekend tournaments, meaning Friday and Saturday night hotel stays and restaurant visits. For next season, we're looking at probably doing 4 tournaments again. As Chad mentioned, our other partner in this endeavor is Mother Nature. And if she cooperates, we would look at the number of teams growing from 10 to 12 each time up to 16. So that's another 50, 60 families for each of those 4 weekends. The outdoor ice was kind of a major change this season, and despite it being somewhat shortened by weather, Chad already mentioned the high school game that we were able to host there. Extremely proud of that. We were also able to have 2 of those 4 tournaments I mentioned. We were able to fit in outdoor games for kids on for 2 of those games as well. So, you know, in terms of that, it continues to be a unique feature of our arena in regional cities. I want to say at least an hour and a half to get to the next closest outdoor rink. Feedback was amazing. Chad mentioned that Mankato High School came down. Those jerseys you see in the picture were actually brand new jerseys or sweaters, what you call them, that they purchased specifically for the outdoor game. And then that was the only time they used them all year. The skaters after the games were out there, Winona kids, Mankato kids next to each other taking pictures. The coaches were just saying, you know, don't come off yet, guys, soak it in. It was really something to see. So we're extremely happy with the outdoor ice. Look to do more with that next year. And that kind of ties in a bit with what Chad mentioned in terms of the community ice. Despite, even without the issue at Lake Park, increasing community time was something that was going to be important to us, even without the second sheet. But what we were able to do was kind of have occasional weekend times, but the 2 significant times we had open ice was over the 2 school breaks. So Christmas break, the week between Christmas and New Year's, we were able to open the arena for 8 or 10 hours a day, I believe. And that Monday to Friday, if I'm not mistaken, we had over 800 people through the doors using the ice. The spring break numbers weren't quite as impressive, but the fact that it was the first week of March and we still had numbers in the dozens there each day just, I think, demonstrates that the word is out, and they like, that was just on the indoor sheet. But look for things like that in the future where, you know, again, opening for dozens of hours to hundreds of skaters. The 2 weeks basically where we were the strongest in the outdoor ice was in the middle of February. And in terms of scheduling, just so you have an idea, what we were able to do was we averaged approximately 70 hours a week of programming on that outdoor sheet of ice. About half of that was the association, but the other half was open hockey, open skating for the community. And again, as Chad mentioned, no charge, free skate rental, just come on down and check it out. So, a couple of closing thoughts. Next season, we're anticipating, obviously, continuing to partner with the city to be a solution to the ongoing need for public ice. One of the things the association is looking at doing to take some of the load off of the facility is to look at scheduling some practices during off-peak hours at the East End Rec. Is with tennis shoes and a tennis ball, we're able to learn we can do some kind of quasi practices that in the beginning of the season would lead to some open ice being offered that we aren't traditionally able to do. And in conclusion, I guess myself and the board want to once again thank the city for the collaboration. We feel the cooperation has already begun, even though we're only in year 1, to truly transform the city building. Historically, for those of you that don't remember, it was used for a small part of the year, only about 4 months, by really just 2 or 3 groups, all ice skating related. We feel it's now on the way to being a true multi-purpose facility that will see all kinds of Winonans use the facility for really all kinds of things. Sky's the limit. It's a great example of a private-public partnership, and our association is extremely proud to be a member of that with the city. So, if there are any questions, I can certainly answer them.
Any questions for Mike? Well, thank you, the association, for all that you've done to make this happen, too.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Looks amazing.
Mayor and Council, in closing, again, I don't think we can thank the association enough for their donation to this project. Yet more importantly, I want to thank them for their vision. They certainly had a vision for an enhanced facility that will accommodate not only hockey and figure skaters, but an enhanced facility that will benefit the entire community. Without that vision, I'm comfortable saying that we would not have the facility that we certainly have today at Blood King. So again, thanks to the association.
Thank you.
Okay. And moving on, item 3.2 is a request for the Winona Main Street Touch a Truck and Play Streets event to be held Saturday, May 13th.
Make a motion to approve that request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Any discussion? Michelle?
Emily, I just noticed that one of the areas you're asking to close off is the alley behind Blooming Grounds. There is some private parking back there, so
Alley behind Blooming?
Grounds, yep. There's a barricade there on the map. Because it goes into the Second Street
We
lot.
don't have to use that.
I was just gonna say if you could just move the barricade to the end of the building, those people get in and out.
We can do that.
Okay,
Yeah. We're having to reallocate a lot of our lots this year and hope that some semis are okay with company without their trailers. Since the lots we're using this year are much smaller than previous years due to the Excel project happening downtown. So fitting more in a smaller space.
I'm sure everyone will still have a good time.
It's a great event. Anything else? We'll vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3 is a Windcraft street closure request for Innovation Drive on Friday, May 19th.
May move to approve that request.
Second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.4 is a request to close Lake Park Drive by Windcraft for their company picnic on Saturday, July 29th.
I'd move to approve that request.
Second that.
Again, motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.5, revised dates for the American Duchess docking. They are canceling the date of July 25th and adding September 5th. And the American Queen, we're just confirming the dates of August 5th and August 12th.
Move to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Paul. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.6 is a request for after-hours use of Garvin Heights City Park on Friday, June 9th.
Move to approve that request.
Second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. When you say after hours, is it sunset? Or is it 10 o'clock?
The park closes at 10 p.m.
10,
And they
okay.
wish to be there until midnight.
Okay. Okay.
Do we need facilities or anything for this event?
How large a group? Oh, 40. There is a porta potty up there.
They've done this before, haven't
Many,
they?
many
not?
years.
Anything else? We'll vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.7 is the Human Rights Divestment Recommendation.
Our chair, Chuck Ripley, you say anything? Obviously you do.
Thank you for,
I don't think the mic is on.
oh,
I think we
Did I
shut,
just
can you,
start?
no, can you turn it on? I think we shut it off earlier and there,
How's that?
There.
that's better.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Well, in short, what the commission wants to bring forward as a recommendation is that the city divest its economics relationship with Wells Fargo Bank. And I know we always bring forward very easy, non-controversial issues, and this is one of them. But I think it's important to remember that the Human Rights Commission is a commission of citizen volunteers, and this year, this fall, will have served as chair and on the commission for 10 years now. And in that time, I've come to really appreciate how the city of Winona and the government of the city of Winona understands that government has a moral dimension to it. And I think all of you with your leadership have demonstrated this in our community. And I think it bears acknowledging that it was first the city government of Winona which asked the Commission of Citizen Volunteers to consider the covenant of friendship with the Dakota people. We gave it the feedback of the citizens of Winona that we believe this was in accordance with our values, We recommended that it be adopted, and it was adopted. And it was the work of the city government and many city officials and staff people that made the Dakota Gathering possible, and it's what's kept the Dakota Gathering in place year after year. And so, given this history, our recommendation regarding divestment from Wells Fargo is obviously tied to the national movement of divestment and the primary funding role that Wells Fargo played in the Dakota Access Pipeline. And so, given the history of this issue, I think we can break down the issue to basically two components. The first one, is it right, given what our Dakota friends under the Covenant of Friendship want us to do in terms of our relationship with Wells Fargo? Is it right that we continue this relationship in light of our own local pride about the Great Dakota Gathering, about our place and our very name as Winona? Second, if it isn't right that we continue this relationship, I think the second question is really, is it possible to get another community or regional banking partner who can do what Wells Fargo does for the city? And I hope in making this recommendation that it's not considered lightly, and speaking on behalf of the commission, we don't mean to disparage in any way the local branch of the Wells Fargo, the employees here, but we want to recognize the role they played in the Dakota Access Pipeline nationally, and what our Dakota friends who come into our town every year think of this. And maybe finally, what I'd like to do, if this would be okay, is to invite people who came here today on this issue to come forward and speak on it.
Frankly, I was intending that you would speak on behalf of the Human Rights Commission and see whether, where this would go. This isn't a public hearing.
Okay.
And so,
Could I ask people who are in favor to just stand up so we get a sense of who's supporting this here tonight?
that would be fine. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And so that's our recommendation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to consider this resolution.
Okay, a motion to consider. Is there a second?
I'd second that.
Okay. Discussion? You made the motion, maybe you'd like to start, Paul?
Yeah, so I really I'm hearing this, and I know I have friends out here in the seats. And I've spoken on this before here in this seat, and I've certainly made a very strong verbal commitment to the Dakota and the No DAPL cause. So it's going to be one of those decisions that's really difficult to meet, considering what's the test, and which banks do we limit this kind of resolution to, and where our investments are. I know that the city of Winona has investments with Wells Fargo, other banks. We have bonds. We have pension funds. Many of those are invested in banks and financial institutions that have investments in portfolios that include fossil fuel companies. Those of you who know me know that if there's anybody in this audience or in this room here know how I feel about fossil fuels. And so it's a really difficult decision to make. I will say this, about 27 years ago at Prairie Island Reservation, a Dakota spiritual leader told me and a group of fellow adventurers, this was Amos Owen, and he told me, and I really respected this, and I still live by this today, we are all related, and I totally get that. Our planet and our mother is ailing, and it's our responsibility to do something to heal our planet. So my request, no matter what the city council decides here, is that you participate with me in that healing process. That's all I have to say.
Anybody else wish to speak? Yeah?
I would like to consider what form this consideration would take. And one form I would like to see us pursue is to see if there's I know that Winona does business with Wells Fargo, sure, but also Winona National and Merchants Bank. So the city of Winona has its business in two other banks in town. I would like to see if there is a local or regional bank that would meet the criteria that we're talking about. In terms of not having investments in either fossil fuels or the pipeline. To my homework today, I found that there are 13 other major banks that have invested in the pipeline. And I don't know, I mean, they are the major banks, just like Wells Fargo is, and I don't know which major banks we would find to do business with to carry on our job as a city. We need a lot of complicated financial resources, and I don't know where we would get it, but I would like to pursue this a little bit to see if there is a regional or a local bank that could meet our needs.
Well, I had the pleasure of signing those covenants of agreement a little over 4 years ago as mayor, and I'm certainly sympathetic to our friends, the Dakota Nation. My issue isn't what bank we could go to and if it isn't Wells Fargo, it's how do we look at their investment portfolios and cherry pick and decide, well, I like this investment, I don't like this, this is okay, and who would decide, which of those investments are okay? It just, I think that there are good reasons for the business that we do with a large bank like Wells Fargo for our investments, and I just don't know how we can, I'm sure there isn't a bank out there that doesn't have something that they're investing in that somebody's going to have an issue with, and so that's a kind of a road that I don't really want to travel down. So, Paul?
Thank you, Mark. I also want to kind of bring to the attention of those of you in the audience that we are working really hard in this community to change who we are environmentally and sustainability. We are becoming a green step city. We are working on a Partners in Energy program. We're developing an energy action plan. We're doing a lot of things here in the city of Winona that have not been done in the past in order to reduce our fossil fuel footprint. There's currently an energy efficiency contest available with cash prizes that the city is participating in with the county that you can participate in that encourages the reduction of fossil fuel use. And I would like to offer an alternative resolution that might find support among the council, if I may.
So if you want to make a motion, sure.
Maybe an amendment. And this is how I have it worded. Winona will work toward reducing their current and future investments in financial institutions that maintain a portfolio heavily favoring fossil fuel extraction at the expense of the Dakota people, human rights, and a worsening climate. And that doesn't pigeonhole us to a certain bank. It makes us follow the commitment in the path that I believe we're currently on.
Okay, well, there's a motion for an amendment. Is there a second to that?
Would you read that again, please?
Sure. Winona will work toward reducing their current and future investments in financial institutions that maintain a portfolio heavily favoring fossil fuel extraction at the expense of the Dakota people, human rights, and a worsening climate.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there discussion on this amendment? Al?
I just wanted to say that, you know, this whole aspect is, I thank the Human Rights Commission for their work. And we're into an area of social responsibility, in my opinion, that certainly we represent the entire community. And this is one particular area of responsibility that some members of this community feel important about. And I understand the covenant relationship with the Dakota, but I'm not ready to impose those kinds of social responsibilities in this particular issue on our total community at this time. So I would vote against the amendment.
Other comments? Well, for the same reasons I stated earlier, I'm hesitant to support your amendment. I think that it would be very difficult to monitor that kind of portfolio. I'm not sure how it would happen. Do you want to vote on the amendment? Okay. All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
5-2. Fails. Now, there's an original motion, which was to consider the request. Can you read that motion back so we all know?
It's just the original.
Pardon?
The motion would be to rid the city of its association with Wells Fargo and those who provide material support in the continued genocide of the Dakota people.
But that's not the motion that was made by Paul.
Well, consider.
That was his motion.
Yes.
His amendment was
Oh.
voted down. So the original motion would be the recommendation from the
Okay.
Human Rights
All right.
Commission.
We ready to vote on that? Any more discussion? All those in favor of the original motion, say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Moving on to item 3.8. It's a request from residents along Rodeo Drive.
I would move to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
Motion by George and seconded by Paul. Discussion?
You never made complicit in the genocide of the Dakota people. You had a covenant, and you have covenants, and you will not remain silent.
You're out of order.
I may be out of order, but you are out of order for being complicit in the genocide of the Dakota people. You claim to be their friend. What friend invests in their genocide? What friend invites their friend to their home
Al,
when
you're
you
next.
invest in their genocide?
Let's see, as far as the council in this issue goes, I would like to point out in our agenda item that when this particular development was made, the residents were told that they could do this as a private investment without having the city go ahead and dedicate the road. And I think, I don't know, we have our city engineer here, and I was wondering if he could comment on the particular makeup of the road, how it affects the ability of the city to provide maintenance for it. I mean, I don't object to repairing the road, mind you, but I think that we might be looking at other requests from private folks. We've had some in the past, we've turned them down.
Sure. Currently, the road's 24 feet wide, which is similar to other things that we have approved and many of the township roads that we took over,
Okay.
even less than 24 feet wide. One of the major issues is the slope. It's 14%. We do have other roads in town that are close to that, but nothing that I'm aware of that exceeds that. makes it a little harder to maintain, you know, if it's icy roads, et cetera. But it is maintainable. Obviously, they've maintained it for this many years privately.
And the city would take over the plowing of snow for that as well? if this
It
were
would be a
going
total maintenance takeover from what I understand, yes.
forward? And plows are able to do their job there? I mean.
Plows
I
should
don't
be
know for
able to do it. And like you said, Al, the danger comes with the other ones that aren't of this, this has a fairly large cul-de-sac. The cul-de-sac actually meets our standards. It's a 100-foot diameter right-of-way, 90-foot diameter cul-de-sac. That meets it for turnaround. There are other ones, even in treetops alone, that do not even come close to meeting our standards for treetops. Hence, like you say, the danger of other ones coming forward.
Sure, and this is just for that particular part of Rodeo Drive?
This resolution is for Rodeo Drive only.
Okay.
It is not for any other place within the city of Winona whatsoever.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any more questions.
Other questions for Brian, or?
No, just, I mean, the residents of the development out there, they are willing to pay all of these expenses. So, I think that's a very good, fair deal there.
I have a question.
Sure.
So are these residents willing to pay the cost going forward, or just for this one time? I don't like it that private developers can develop on slopes that are really too steep, too steep for the city roads, and then come back later and ask the city to take it over. I think by approving this, we'd be encouraging more of the same, and I really don't agree with that.
Mayor?
Are there other precedents for this kind of a road being built and not to our standards and then the city taking it over?
Recently, you guys have had Camelot come
I
forward.
remember that.
And you denied it.
Right.
That would be the closest thing to a precedent that's, been presented to this council recently. I'm not
I don't
aware of
remember
any
them
others.
offering to pay for
Yeah.
it either, so that's.
And it was also a size issue too for emergency vehicles.
Yep. It was worse in this case, no doubt about it. I'm not aware of any others that have been accepted or even came forward.
Okay.
It's possible, but I'm not aware of it.
Jerry?
I was still sitting here when this development took place, and without going into detail, I can tell you that it was a rather interesting development. It was truly one of a kind. It was not easy. It was one of those contentious issues that we discussed earlier, and I appreciate your concern, but I don't see another one like this coming up. A development like this.
There are other private drives in this development though, correct?
Correct. There are two for sure.
So we should expect those to come forward and the city to take those over as well.
It would be a logical thing that they would come forward, yes.
Again, just to make the council aware of what you're looking at, taking over the whole subdivision.
And like I stated earlier, those are not nearly as favorable as this one. They're more narrow, and the turnarounds for a fire truck are maybe impossible, without just flat out backing out.
Well, that might make the difference then when that comes up.
I think George had a point, and I'd like the floor if I could.
I forgot what it was.
Oh.
I mean, every development or every road or every issue that comes before us, it's all based on its own merit. And I think I agree with Brian, this one is totally different than the rest of them. I believe even cobblestone that was developed, the Phillips property, I don't believe are those roads.
They're generally 24-foot wide.
Okay.
There are some bump outs for parking.
Okay.
Much longer road.
Right.
But that was developed as an ecological, less
Right.
pavement, less runoff. That was intentionally developed that way. Also, the Meadows recently was very similar, 24-foot wide, developed for less pavement, less runoff. It's kind of a trend for low-volume roads to be built that way.
I have a question. Are the standards when this was built, these roads that we're talking about today, Rodeo Drive, are the road standards up to the current city standards?
Are you talking section or thickness of pavement, all that type of stuff?
Well, whatever, you know, we have certain thicknesses and not width-wise, mind you, since that's not.
At the time, yes, they were. I was
Okay.
actually working for the engineering firm that designed
okay.
it. I had nothing to do with the mudslide.
Okay.
But, yeah, I know for a fact they were up to standards. Since then, I have changed the standards, going to a gravel equivalent, which is a thicker standard, but they met the standards at the time.
So the deterioration of the pavement wasn't really anything to do with how they were built?
It's the nature of an inverted crown carrying the water. It'll erode it eventually.
Okay.
It's a known factor going in.
And this is something that's already in the budget for this
It
year?
was bid with the mill and overlay project to get favorable prices, you know, economy of scale. We bid it with that, so we got favorable prices, and then we knew that we were gonna bring it forward to council for an up or down vote. It can be pulled out as easy as it can be left in there.
Okay.
And there's zero city participation?
In the end, this would be 100% assessed to the residents along there.
Okay.
Dan?
But if it's dedicated as city streets, then going forward, the city would be responsible for
That
this.
has been city policy, yes.
Isn't there some awkwardness in having, so there's one road of treetops that's a dedicated city street and none of the others are? Isn't there some confusion on the part of people who buy that?
Treetops Lane itself is a city street. It's the offshoot roads that are not.
Okay. Is that perfectly clear to people that buy these properties, that they're not gonna be maintained
It's
by the
platted
city?
as such, you know, what the realtor tells them, I'm not privy to that, so I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
But it was definitely advertised from the city standpoint that it is a private drive.
Would it be on their deeds?
It should be, yeah.
So it's recorded.
They're listed as an outlot in the plat.
Other questions? Ready to vote? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. 5-2. Carries.
Item 3.9, it's a request for vacation of a portion of the utility street easement on Lot 2, Block 4 of Riverbend Industrial Park subdivision for Miller Scrap. The resolution would set the public hearing on Monday, May 15th. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.10 is an application for bridge bond funds for Bridge L5779 on Lake Boulevard.
Move to approve the attached resolution.
I'll
Second.
Let George second.
Motion by
Me.
Michelle and seconded by a bunch of people here. Give it to Al, he hasn't had one.
Oh, thank you.
Any discussion?
George, can Brian just explain what's going on here?
This is the one by Woodlawn Cemetery. Every 4 years, our bridges are inspected. This one was on the cycle for late last fall, and we found out that it was subpar. One of the steel members was seriously decaying, up to 40%. It's near the abutment. It's not a huge issue, but MnDOT rates our bridge, or inspects our bridges, and then they required us to re-rate it because of the inspection. The re-rating came in at 10 ton for a single axle vehicle, 16 tons for any multi-axle vehicles, which that's not even a garbage truck. So I've informed the garbage companies, the school bus companies, that do not go on that. With that, we have started design on a new bridge, which ends up being a culvert, 4 foot tall, 14 feet wide. And there's bridge bond funding with the state of Minnesota every year. So this allows us to apply for that bridge bond funding. And I've been in discussions with MnDOT, and they think that we'll probably get about 73%. Bridge bond funding is about the easiest grant to ever apply for. It's pretty much a given. So we'd pay the 27%, probably out of stormwater fund, and MnDOT would pay the 73%. So that's how that would be done.
I'm going to interrupt here for just a second. There's some conversations going on in the back of the room that we're finding disruptive up here. If you want to stand there, you're fine. If you want to have a conversation, I'm going to ask that you step outside the door, please. Go
I
ahead.
have a question.
Okay.
Yes, so are all of our bridges, do they all have such romantic names? L5779.
Some have 5 digits. But yeah, that's how they are. I mean, we name them Wagon Wheel Bridge and all that, but that's 5760 if you.
All right.
Even the new bridge has a number.
That's an 85,000 number. I can't remember what it is, but yeah.
Does it really cost this much for a culvert?
That's some road improvements. That's why we're paying 27%. It's probably going to raise it a little bit, so we're going to have to grade back the road to match in. But these big culverts, I mean, a big culvert like this is probably $400 a foot.
So the culvert width will be actually the width of the road as opposed to the narrows about 4 feet or more.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit wider road. It won't shrink in there so much. It'll be the standard width of our road. So that's going to be a little bit longer too. Yeah.
Any other questions? Comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under unfinished business, item 4.1 is to award the contract for the 2017 bituminous mill and overlay project to Dunn Blacktop.
Move to approve the
I will
attached
second.
resolution.
George got the motion in and Michelle got the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the State of Minnesota Department of Transportation and City of Winona Cooperative Construction Agreement for Trunk Highway 43 Bridge Project Work Package Number 6.
Make a motion to approve the attached resolution.
I second that.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Pam. Discussion?
I'm glad to see that they're still working on the emergency vehicle preemption. I think that's what the EVP stands for in this agreement.
Several intersections throughout the city will have them installed this year.
Good.
And will continue until they're done.
Okay.
16,000 intersection. So
A little bit of time.
it'll take us a little while to get through them.
And then what's the Winona sign that's referred to in the agreement, page 3, 3.3 subsection B? The Winona sign will be owned, operated, and maintained by the city. Do you know what the reference to that signage is?
Did,
It's the sign on the Wisconsin side.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's that one.
It's just a welcome to Winona
Oh,
sign. That's it.
okay.
Question. I was on the Visual Quality Committee for the bridge, and there were several different designs proposed for this welcome sign. Some of them were, favored, others were not, anyway, there was discussion. Do you know what the design is?
Pretty benign. It's what MnDOT allows to be put on their state
really?
highway. Yeah,
Oh.
it's not going to be real
No.
fancy.
Okay, so some of the designs were made of stone with different,
Yeah.
all that.
No.
Okay.
Go figure.
Okay, no
Oh,
flashing,
that's true, too.
no
Yes.
flashing lights?
State Historical Preservation Office also did not allow those signs.
Oh, okay.
Brian, at one time there was a discussion about a left turn sign on the new bridge, directing people to historic downtown Winona. Do you know?
Yeah, we're
And
still
I
in the
think it
works
was
on
tied
that.
in with the downtown
Yep.
signage that we needed to do. Do we know if that sign for the bridge is still being discussed?
That's in the works, yeah.
It is, okay.
It probably will not go there until the new bridge, or the old bridge is,
Okay,
all the traffic's the way it's supposed to be.
okay. Good. Other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
item 5.2 is the 2017 sidewalk replacement project, city manager's recommendation.
Make a motion to approve the attached resolution.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by Jerry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.3 is the 2017 sidewalk replacement project feasibility report and resolution ordering hearing for Monday, May 15th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Jerry, seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.4 is an easement with KNS for access for water shutoffs.
Make a motion to accept the easement.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, seconded by George. Any discussion?
Is it a little, is there some explanation here?
Anybody, who would,
Can't, where, so 170 West Second,
Yeah. When I read it, it just said that we need to access their property to get to the water shutoffs, and so we're getting an easement to do it.
that's all this is.
That's all it is.
Thank you.
Yep.
okay, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.5 is the Arts Midwest grant application.
I would move to approve the attached resolution.
Second.
Motion by Pam, seconded by Paul. Lee, do you want to add anything?
Only if there are any questions.
Any questions for Lee? I guess not.
Well, why don't you tell us?
Why don't you summarize it?
Yeah, summarize
Sure,
it.
sure. It's a
For our
grant
audience.
from Arts Lab, which is part of Arts Midwest, and it will allow 8 communities outside of the cities, rural Minnesota or smaller towns in Minnesota, to come together and work with this organization to talk about planning for arts in the community, what the economic impact would be and what the benefits would be, and it would allow for a lot of networking with other communities within the region. And the only request is that Citizens for the Arts does an economic impact from each of the cities. We just had one done 2 years ago, so we will probably not have to do it, but if it is a requirement for everyone to do a current one, we're just asking that the funds would be allowed. We're hoping that it won't happen. We'll get the grant, but won't need the funds.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
I just had a question. Do you see, Lee, do you see this as spreading out the, the initiatives of the community, or condensing them in chosen, do you know what I mean? Are we trying to get more people involved in planning the arts activity, or are we?
I think we're trying, if I can understand your question well, it's a little of both.
Okay.
We're trying to solidify who will be the core members or the people that will be involved, but try to be as inclusive of different voices in the community as well.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
This should segue well into our strategic plan for arts and culture in the community.
Yes.
But it'll delay that a year or two.
Correct. It would be sort of a foundation or a groundwork for the work that we would be doing after, and costs very little.
Anything else? We'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.6 is a lease agreement for VAR Technology Finance for laptops for the police department. I would note we did receive the revised lease agreement.
I'd make a motion to approve the attached lease and authorize the mayor to sign it. Sorry.
Second. Order.
There was no order this time.
Okay, we had a motion by Michelle ordering the mayor to sign this. Who seconded it?
I
I just, this is an old joke. Oh. Steve wasn't here, I don't think, when this started. Who seconded it?
George.
George, okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
We'll start with Pam.
Yes, well, I had the pleasure of attending and marching with the Climate March on Saturday, which was a great occasion. We walked out into the middle of the bridge and came back, and then we walked under the bridge. And if any of you haven't had a chance or haven't taken the opportunity to walk under the new bridge, you should do that. I found that their very impressive sweep of supports and expansive views were wonderful to see after having, I know what that land has been like all this time, so that was my first opportunity. If you haven't had a chance to get down there, you should do that.
Okay, Paul?
I just want to emphasize the mayor's bike ride on Wednesday May 3rd, 5 PM, meet here at City Hall. I also want to note that the Citizens Environmental Quality Committee is meeting for the first time in a long time. It's fully seated, and it's an opportunity for the public to see what perhaps that committee will be doing going forward. Tomorrow in the Masato Room at 4:30. And I want to thank the Winona Hockey Association and Parks and Rec for accommodating skaters this last winter when the ice was out, so to speak. And look forward to the opportunity for some of my senior peers to be able to possibly play pickleball over there in the future. Thank you.
George?
Could you explain senior peers? Thank you. Any update yet as far as when construction's going to begin on the railroad crossings?
This year already happened, 51.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, Fifth Street is all done, okay?
All done.
Okay. Okay, then they will be coming east.
No, we're gonna redo a couple of them in the west end first.
Yes. Thank you.
So, okay, as long as we keep that train coming east, so. Steve, if you're available Wednesday morning, I just want to meet with you around 10 o'clock on some railroad issues. If you're available, you can just.
10 o'clock on Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
I'm sorry, I already have that scheduled with Steve.
Excuse me, Thursday, I'm sorry.
Thursday doesn't, well, Thursday at 10?
Or 9:30, 9?
10's better.
This is odd, George.
Take it
Right
off.
now, this is
Work
odd.
it out after the council.
Yeah, something different, so. And I'd just like to just simply pass on condolences to the family of the Wineskis, longtime Fourth Ward residents, on the passing of wife, mother, and grandmother Mary Wineski. Very, very lovely lady, and wished her family well during their healing process. Thank you.
Michelle?
I'm good.
Jerry?
Nothing this evening.
Al?
Pass.
We're done.
And
Except
on to
for-
the consent agenda, there are 3 items. Approval of the minutes from April 17th, a claim against the city by Michelle Belloc, and a claim against the city by American Family Insurance for Lindsay
Move to approve the,
Wojcik. I'd second that.
move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Al, seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Very good.
Quiet.